I can't do it. I'm not motivated. Lies.
Your motivation.
Motivation is crap.
The fear is never reaching your potential.
See, there's an easy fix. Well, easy-ish.
That always falling short, always quitting before you're done, always procrastinating, always not doing the right thing.
For the past 3 years, I couldn't get myself motivated to do a single task. Seriously.
Then one day you're an old man.
Yep.
And you look back and go, God, I could have been great.
But I've grew this channel from 400 to 16k subscribers by following the procrastination protocols in this video.
I was fat and I ran by a graveyard and I looked out there. I'm like, man, I wonder how many of you motherfuckers in there are so upset with how you lived your life, regret how you lived it. And I'm running a 300-pound man thinking, man, don't die like this, bro.
Even for my most important exams to enter university, I left it until the night before to revise. I could only start a task when the pressure felt so overwhelming that I had to start. But recently, I have completely fixed this issue with my discovery. This is what hard feels like. I was insanely stressed out because I had an overwhelming thought in my mind that I was falling behind in life. I seen my friends all making so much progress in their lives. And then there was me, unable to even start a task. And I knew it was all my own doing, but it seemed so much easier to just watch that anime show than doing any work. But then I stumbled across this Alex Hormozi podcast. I'll be honest, most podcasts I forget what they talked about after a week or so. But this one was different. This is where everything changed for me.
And I learned how to work without motivation.
Alex said, this is
What hard feels like.
And this was the beginning of my discovery, or rather my mindset shift. I realized I'd been going into all my tasks with the mindset I should be feeling so motivated, and always feeling like it shouldn't be difficult to start my tasks. But that's when I realized doing hard tasks, pursuing a goal, sitting down to focus, that is hard. And that resistance you get that makes you think, I want to quit, I don't want to sit down and focus, that is what hard feels like. It was never meant to be easy. When have you ever heard of anyone ever who's consistently like to sit down and do the work? I realized there's never going to be a time I'm completely motivated to start the task. There's never going to be a moment everything aligns and sitting down to focus feels good. If there is, great, but I couldn't rely on such inconsistencies. My life was passing me by and I needed to make a change. I could either suck it up and start the task now, or just push it off for a week and start it then. The only thing I would gain from doing that is immense pressure and a bag full of regret.
You can't wait for everything to be okay to live your life. That's what
There are many protocols I've integrated in my life that have really helped me overcome my procrastination in these last few months. But first realize to work without motivation, it requires discipline.
You need discipline.
You don't have discipline, you ain't nobody.
Right.
But what if I don't have discipline? Well, we can develop it, like I've been trying to do these last few months.
I mean, discipline is doing what you hate to do, but do it like you love it.
David Goggins and Andrew Huberman perfectly summarize how you can do that. But we will get to that in a minute. Because first, you need to know Andrew Huberman's protocol that I use to cure my procrastination. Huberman says, when you are procrastinating, if you can actually take that state of being unmotivated and actually do something that's harder than being in that amotivated state, in other words, do something that's more effortful or even painful, you can rebound yourself out of that unmotivated state so much more quickly. I literally used this protocol 2 weeks ago, and it worked amazingly. I had tried all day to sit down and start the edit of my last video, but I wasn't sure where to even start, so I kept procrastinating. Yes, even I have trouble at times. But I'd remembered this protocol, so I decided to do something harder and I went and ran 6 kilometers. I wasn't motivated to run either, but I needed to change something. Anyway, I completed the run, and guess what? When I went back to start into the edit of that video, it felt so easy. It doesn't have to be exercise, but just realize when you aren't motivated to do that task, do one that's harder, and you will be so much more motivated to start into that task you didn't want to do. In David Goggins and Andrew Huberman's recent podcast, they discussed how to train your willpower and build your discipline. And well, it inspired me to really train my discipline.
But there's a brain structure called the anterior mid-cingulate cortex. When people do something they don't want to do, like add 3 hours of exercise per day or per week, or when people who are trying to diet and lose weight resist eating something. When people do anything that they, and this is the important part, that they don't want to do.
Right.
It's not about adding more work, it's about adding more work that you don't want to do.
Yes.
This brain area gets bigger. The anterior mid-cingulate cortex is smaller in obese people. It gets bigger when they diet. It's larger in athletes. It's especially large or grows larger in people that see themselves as challenged and overcome some challenge.
Right.
And in people that live a very long time, this area keeps its size. In many ways, scientists are starting to think of the anterior mid-cingulate cortex not just as one of the seats of willpower, but perhaps actually the seat of the will to live. And all the data point to the fact that we can build this area up, but that as quickly as we build it up, if we don't continue to invest in things that are hard for us, that we don't want to do, guess what? The anterior mid-cingulate cortex shrinks. To me, this is one of the most important discoveries that neuroscience has ever made, because it's that I don't want to do something, but do it anyway.
That's right.
That grows this area.
That's how I've lived my entire life. I didn't know anything about that.
So when you don't feel motivated to start the task you've been putting off, or your mind is telling you to skip the gym, realize these are opportunities for you to grow and develop yourself.
But people go, man, you have such a strong will. It's something that you build. Like, I never forget, I was on a podcast one time, and this dude goes, you were blessed with a strong mind. Like, the hell are you talking about? I was blessed with a strong mind. That's something that you have to develop. You develop that over years, decades of suffering and going back into the suffering.
When you consistently overcome hard tasks, it builds momentum in your life to keep doing more hard things, and you acquire that skill to just start into tasks. You won't care if you're motivated or not, you will just be fit to start.
You have to decide that you are a professional. This is what a professional does. A professional goes to work. So every day, at the same time, you sit down in front of your keyboard and you start working. And just put in the work, and force yourself to do it. You force it like a muscle, like the same muscle that you develop when you go running every day. And then you get to the point where, like 7 days in, you start feeling good running.
Right. So you start to feel like you're good at it.
You start feeling like you're getting better.
Yeah.
I've seen this momentum in my own life. At the beginning of October, I had 400 subs. And now 3 months later, I have 16,000 subscribers. All thanks to God, of course. Same with the gym, it's the most consistent I've ever been. And that's thanks to the mindset shift and protocols I've been following. And remember, I can't do it, I'm not motivated, is a total lie. Understand the emotion you feel from doing the task is separate from the actual action of doing it. Say this to yourself, I can be and still do this. Then go and prove that statement to yourself. Through effort we grow. Peace.
Every morning, every day of our lives, we have choices to make. You have the choice to stay in bed, to say, forget it, I'm not going to work out today, or forget it, I'm not going to work hard today. You always have a choice every single day of your life. Because yesterday, I made the choice to get up early and run, but today's another day. Today's another day that I'm faced with another choice to make. So I'm making the choice again to put my shoes on early in the morning and get after it again. So make the right decision.